Hi everyone, welcome. I'm out here in my yard and some of you might recognize this colorful piece of painted plywood. It's the cover for my outdoor worm system. Originally, when I started version 1.0 years ago, it was really just an overwinter test to see how the worms do living outside all winter. They just lived in that plastic container there, but more recently, past couple iterations of the outdoor worm system have lived inside this large double grow bag. It's just two grow bags, one inside the other. And it was just a week ago that we retired version 3, we harvested the castings, we moved the worms into their newly rebuilt home. But when I rebuilt this home for them, I did not include any food. Lots of cozy bedding for them, plenty of moisture, but the food was left out. So today, technically, they're getting their first feeding. There's a whole variety of different frozen materials down here in this little bag. I've also collected up some leaves that we can cover up with at the end, and I've also got a bunch of shredded paper in here that I'd like to include as part of this to really build up their space, give them lots of room to roam around in. So let's get these little guys fed. Since the weatherman forecasted rain, I figured, you know what, I'll leave this system uncovered, let it get some nice natural rainfall into here, and I'm going to leave it this way for a couple days because there is rainfall expected for the next 2 or 3 days. So I already allowed it to start getting a little bit of rainfall. And you know, since this thing never had any food added to it was just all bedding, I doubt that we're going to find like a concentration of worms in here. Or did we? I can't remember if we brought them into this with some leftovers from their old environment. If we did, then maybe there is like a little bit of a gathering, kind of picking off what remains of the leftovers. So let's see if we can get a little sense of how this system's doing here. I didn't come out here prepared with the averaged number of worms that we estimated live in this system, but we did collect up everyone's guesses to see if we can come up with a an averaged population worm count for this system. I don't remember the exact number, but it was up in the 3,000s, I believe. So, you know, based on what we saw during the last check-in with these little guys, everyone seemed to agree that we had a pretty good-sized population in here. And I see lots of worms and bits of residual bedding all over the place, but whatever it is that they might have been bought over with, as far as leftovers from their old environment, I don't think there's a whole lot, if any, of it left. And I kind of suspected that. I couldn't really even remember if they got bought over here with leftovers. It might have just been worms. It's coming back to me. I believe it might have just been worms, or maybe we did collect up. I mean, this is cardboard that's left over from the previous system, so I don't know. It's hard to say. So the bedding that I'm going to be using is shredded leaf bag. I've got a whole bunch of these leaf bags, and I've been using them here and there down in the worm where I got a few of them that are a little bit soiled, and I figured, you know, if we can confirm that they work well, if I shred them up and use them as bedding in the worm bins, then I'll, you know, keep using them for various things. But once they get soiled or torn or whatever the case may be, I'll just proceed to shredding them, including them in my ready-built bedding mix of shredded papers and leaves and whatnot. So let's begin by bringing what I bought from downstairs. It was getting a little bit messy, so I tried to wrap it up so it doesn't go flying everywhere. At first I tried fitting it all into this little paper bag, but it was way too much, and then it started to tear. And then I just took what was left and I tried to put it in this piece of paper, but this paper was not enough either. So that's how I ended up jamming the whole shebang down into the into that pot that I bought it upstairs with. So right away you can see they're getting a whole lot of fresh dry bedding, and I'm not worried about that since you know, it's going to be raining for the next few days. This stuff's going to get plenty soaked, so I'm definitely curious to see how they, you know, go for it. Hopefully they like it. And I figured, you know, one possible way that we can really encourage them to go for it is to put the food that they're getting right smack into the middle of it. So let's first we dug a hole and then we piled it full of this stuff, and there's a whole lot of it, right? Let's dump all the food that they're going to get right down into there. So my mom sent over some frozen mushrooms, some frozen bits of strawberry wrapped in a piece of paper towel. I think these green beans are from her too. This banana peel. It was a banana that I ate. This is broccoli that was just another victim of being kind of forgotten about and getting too old to be considered as human food anymore. But luckily I've got a good backup plan for any food that ever gets into that category. And then I bought a little care package of crushed eggshells from downstairs from the wormery, because, you know, new system like this, freshly built, probably could use some grit to help with the digestion. And well, what do we do here? You know, maybe we'll just use these few pieces of paper that came along for the ride as sort of top coverings for the food. Let the worms focus their energy on that delicious assortment of foods that they got, and then after we take the covers off, we'll get a little glimpse into how they liked this shredded leaf bag. I've been suspicious of leaf bags in the past, thinking that maybe they were treated with something so that they wouldn't just dissolve and break and, you know, send their contents flying down the street. But these are really cheap looking leaf bags, so my hope is that they're not you know, made of any sort of material that would resist decomposition or breakdown, and I'm hoping that the worms like it. And if they do, then that's great, because I got a sudden large supply of nice paper bag material that we can include in our beddings. So like I said, I'm leaving the top off this thing. I'm gonna let the rain come down into here and just soak this whole setup for the little worms, and all that dry bedding down below will pick up a nice bit of moisture from the rain. And then in a couple days, once the rain has left, I'll just go ahead and cover this thing back up customarily the way we usually do. So that's it for this little check-in with our now 7-day-old outdoor worm bag version 4. And as you can see, I've got a couple things that I've got to put away and clean up and stuff like that. But before I go, let me just really quickly say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please, as always, don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.